In this video, I'm going to discuss with you social engineering. What is this? We know what engineering is: physics, manipulating objects, cause and effects, but applied to society, applied to people, applied to you, and how this idea of democracy in a political framework, both Republicans and Democrats are engineering you. So what am I going to do? I'm going to show you how imprisonment plus demands equals sedation. And what do I mean by this? I mean that imprisonment, we have a mental or psychological form of imprisonment. This is the idea that if I can keep you thinking a certain way, then I don't need to put chains around your body. I already have your mind controlled. So, when we think about things like mental imprisonment, let's consider education. I mean, this is a form of almost, or is not almost, but physical imprisonment for children. They're day prisons for children to get you to do busy work. So you can't think about creative ideas, new ideas, entrepreneurial ideas. No. Sit down, shut up, do this homework, and be a good boy. Be obedient and submissive. Okay? We have things like religion. Now, obviously, I can understand the power of religion and what it can give to people in life, but I'm talking about a historical context where for centuries, kings had the religious right to rule people, to rule citizenry. It gives people some rationale to rule over other people. That's what religion can do. It can be irrational. And so that's what I mean by religion. And not to leave out the atheists, but atheism, in a sense, could be a religion in the fact that they think, out of nothing came the whole world, came something. So if you're atheistic, you're more prone and susceptible to nihilism, to thinking everything's meaningless, that yourself is meaningless because there's no God, there's no truth, there's no beauty. So I'll classify atheism as a religion. And we have media. The media trains people to be aware of problems, situations, and simultaneously think about how to think about these things, a solution. So people are educated and, quote unquote, informed, but a lot of the times it's forms of fear, of paranoia to keep people psychologically, mentally imprisoned. Now, let's move on to demands. What do I mean by demands? I mean demand side economics. Okay, this is the whole Keynesian governmental idea of buy, of living in a world of materialism, of getting you to get a mortgage, work 9 to 5 all day, be puritanical about it, work hard no matter what you do. That's what makes you a good person. And demand side economics doesn't focus on the supply side, which is savings, investments, capital, creation. No. Demand side economics, the Keynesian macroeconomics, is the idea of consuming, of just capital accumulation, capital consumption. Okay. Now, what else do social engineers, statists, politicians demand? They demand you pay taxes, but they demand with a gun. They say if you don't pay taxes, then you're not a good person and you become imprisoned. It becomes illegal to not pay your taxes. So they want you to pay taxes. And in order to do this, you have to work, you have to make money, you have to contribute to the system. They can demand that you take some drugs, that you eat certain things. This is going to go more into the sedation aspect of this. They demand that you get educated. Maybe you go to secondary school, you go to college, university, and you get a college loan. So this loan, you're going to have to take maybe potentially multiple decades to pay off. This is something they demand. They also maybe demand that you are quote unquote healthy with a vaccine. And we know that vaccines create more demands. So let's continue. When you have someone who's psychologically imprisoned and you impose a lot of demands onto them, they can be stressed, they can break, they can become sedated. And the word sedation means to sit. Sede, sedir, to sit. They want you to sit and they want you to shut up and watch Netflix and eat some food and be content. So this is essentially the alternative to human action, to be an actionable person in the world. Now, I'm not saying don't have times of leisure. I'm not against leisure. I'm just trying to inform you that you can be enslaved when you're sedated. Okay. This goes in lines with the idea of security. Secure. Okay. The governments want to provide security. That's how they justify their existence. The word secure, se means free from, and cure comes from cura, which means care. So they want you to be free from care. And this is the idea that that if we also have a form of conscription, which now they're talking about that people between 18 and 24 are automatically enrolled, then you're not free, you're a slave, because that means the government has a higher claim to your body or life than you do. So if you get conscripted, then you're not secure and you're not free from care. Then this is the idea of medicalizing, institutionalizing sedation, making people sit in a couch, because it's a lot easier to make people psychologically secure than actually secure. If actually we conscript people, we go to war, we print more money, we create inflation, people are less well off, they're more poor, people are dying, they're getting more sick, then people are actually less secure. But if you psychologically think you're secure, then really secure, then that's how you control people. Okay. So they want you sedated, they want you psychologically secure, psychologically sedated, so you're easier to control. I mean, the US fought a revolution over a 2% tax, and people are getting 50% taxed today. So I'm not an advocate of a revolution that's at all violent or with arms, but I want to just teach you how you're being socially engineered, beginning with ideas, and then your lifestyle, real life, and then how it manifests into drugs and psychological ideas of keeping people asleep. So social engineering is happening both on the right and the left, both Republicans and Democrats. Another demand is voting. They want you voting so you participate in the system. But this system is what's perpetuating this psychological submission, psychological sedation. So first, you gotta be free from the mental imprisonment. And the way to do that is to recognize all these different institutions of how they're trying to imprison your mind. Because if you can imprison someone's mind, then it's easier to imprison their body. So the social engineers are the statists, are the socialists, are the collectivists, the people who want forced collectivism. That's what politics is. It's an institution of power trying to bring people together for the ends of, the quote unquote public or the state. But the paradox of collectivism is that the market and freedom and individualism brings people out of their own self-interest together in the market order. And the market order is the order of peace and prosperity. The socialists, the Marxists were like saying capitalism is driving people to be individualistic, and yes, maybe it provides some more material goods, but at the end of the day, we need to evolve past capitalism and enter a society of socialism where we have abundance and people stop working for their own self-interest and looking out for themselves, but rather work for the benefit of the group. And the unfortunate truth for the socialists is that, one, you can't change human nature. People are always self-interested, because even the collectivists, the socialist dictators, or the socialist central planning committee are also people who are self-interested. So obviously, if I can use people to better benefit me, then that's what I'm going to do. And if you give me a badge and a gun or a emblem or a title or a diploma to do so, then I'm going to do it. And that's what people do. That's why politics is just about power. It's the Italian school. It's very Machiavellian. Okay? They're social engineers. They're trying to organize society in a way that benefits the politicians. And this is my question that I'll leave you with. We call politicians public servants, but who's paying who? Who's making more money off who? And when you recognize that it's the citizens that are the servants to the politicians, then it becomes a lot more clear that people enter politics because they want the power, they want the money. And that's what socialists want too. That's what the collectivist statists want too. And yeah, to the socialist viewers, really recognize what it is you're demanding of people. You're demanding that they give, they call capitalists the greedy ones, yet they demand the capital of the capitalists. They demand the wealth of the capitalists. So either you can make something that's a good or a service and be free, or you can take it from others and be a slave or a dictator, which is also just the other end of slavery. So yeah, social engineering, not a fan. Don't fall into it. Peace.